Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion Baseball. This is Tim Coet on the call, excited to be here at Pheno this afternoon for coverage of the 2023 Zone 4 playoffs. The regular season has come to a conclusion. We're already a couple of games deep into this Zone 4 playoff run. And Milford right now undefeated in these Zone 4 playoffs, looking to keep it that way here this afternoon as they take on a Zone 4 rival in Hudson post 100. And so before we get the game started, we can give you an abridged version of how things have transpired so far in the Zone playoffs. Milford finished up the regular season with an impressive record. Overall, their record currently stands at 22-2. They finished up the regular season as the top team in all of Zone 4, which guaranteed them the #1 seeding in these zone playoffs. We had a brief play-in round, which allowed North County and Northbridge to cement the final two spots in this 8-team Zone 4 bracket field. And so then Zone 4 playoff action began in earnest on Saturday afternoon. Milford, as the #1 seed, took on the #8 seed Northbridge on that day and cruised to a 12-2 victory, a mercy rule win over Northbridge. Hudson, meanwhile, Milford's opponent today, they were also victorious on day one, a victory over Cherry Valley by a final score of 7-1. So these are two unbeaten teams here on day two of tournament play. Day two was supposed to be yesterday, but of course, if you were anywhere near this area yesterday, there was no possibility of baseball to be played given the torrential rains that came throughout the entirety of Sunday. And so action resuming in this Zone 4 tournament today, and Milford is one of two hubs of Zone 4 playoff action today, with this game here, Milford versus Hudson, leading off what will eventually be a 3-game affair here at Pheno Field into the evening hours. We'll get into some more details on that as the game goes along, but it is time to get you set for this action here as Milford prepares to host Hudson post 100. And quickly, let's bring you the starting lineups for the visitors. That is, again, Hudson post 100. Leading it off is their center fielder, Marshall Kellum. Batting second is the shortstop, Bobby Long, with Peter Ward, the right fielder, batting third. Colin Kessinger is the designated hitter, batting cleanup, with Jason Jacobson's the first baseman, batting fifth. Andrew Melkowski is the third baseman, batting sixth, with Jackson Sequenzia, the second baseman, batting seventh. Batting eighth is the left fielder, Brendan O'Brien, and in the ninth spot is the catcher, Mikey DiCarlo. And Hudson will be taking their swings against the ace of this Milford Post 59 staff. It is Evan Cornelius on the mound, and he is set to throw in his first pitch as this Zone 4 action gets underway. And the pitch misses high for ball one as Marshall Kellum settles in on the left side batter's box. Milford in their yellow uniform tops for this game this afternoon. A live fastball that gets past Kellum's swing brings the count to a ball and a strike. A fantastic season for Cornelius so far. A perfect 5-0 record, leading this team in victories. As he falls behind the hitter, 2 balls and a strike. 25 1/3 innings pitched so far on the season for Cornelius. All of his appearances have been starts. And through the regular season, again, Cornelius, very, very tough, allowed just 13 hits and 4 earned runs through those 25 1/3 innings. Walking 18 batters, striking out 43, also a high on the team as he delivers his 2-2 pitch. That misses just high, and the count goes full to the Hudson leadoff batter. A .55 ERA through the regular season for Cornelius, opposing batters hitting just 144 against him. Here's a payoff pitch to Kellum, and it's in the dirt for ball 4, so Cornelius issues a walk to the first batter he faces here today. Milford wrapped up the regular season on Thursday last week with their makeup game against Shrewsbury. That game that was initially supposed to be the alumni night on Monday of last week. We were so sad to see that game washed away due to another day of heavy rainfall. It's been another difficult summer to get Legion action in. Runner at first base will immediately get some attention from Cornelius. as Bobby Long, the Hudson shortstop, waits to see a pitch. Big lead for Kellum over at first. He doesn't go as this pitch is hit back up the middle, and that's going to dribble its way through into center field for a base hit. So a walk, and now a ground ball base hit puts 2 on with nobody out. And Hudson looking to make some noise here early against a pitcher in which hits and runs are often at a premium. So 2 runners on now ahead of the right fielder, Peter Ward. And he swings at the first pitch, carves it towards the opposite field. The catch is made there by the second baseman, Consigli. Everyone able to get back to their respective bases safely. Another swing early in a count, but this time a line drive out to finally bring the first out of this inning. Defensively for post 59, it is Keith Lee behind the plate, Joey McGee at third, Sean McGee at shortstop, Louis Consigli at second, and Jacob Smith at first. Left to right in the outfield, Scott Paliuka, Andrew Denizen, and Nick Koch. One away now, another lefty batter at the plate in the DH, Colin Kessinger. He takes a pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. A good read on that ball by Consigli. Sliced to the opposite field, able to make the catch. Had eyes on potentially doubling off that runner at first, but Long able to get back to the bag. As the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on Kessinger. Now the 1-1 pitch, that is low. And Cornelius looking to find his full command here in the first inning. Falling behind another batter here in the top of the first. Some K9 fans settling in behind the plate as this ball gets away from Lee, and both runners are going to advance. It was in the dirt. Lee couldn't block it. And a wild pitch now places 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. And an outstanding opportunity here for Hudson to jump on the scoreboard early. Cornelius ready with a 3-1 pitch. And it's a tapper back to the mound. That freezes the runners. Cornelius briefly loses his footing, but able to get back to his feet and fire over to first base to get the out. And the out goes 1-3. The runners had to hold. And head coach Steve DeVito out of the dugout here likely wants to check to make sure that Cornelius is okay after that slip up. Did not appear that Cornelius was in any distress. He was able to get right back to his feet, and Coach DeVito satisfied. He heads back to the first base dugout. 2 away now in the inning. Runners remaining at second and third now for the number 5 hitter, Jason Jacobsons. Cornelius looking to dodge his way out of some early trouble. He's able to fire in a first pitch strike to Jacobsons. Tall right-hander. Now holds up on the swing, but takes that pitch towards the outside part of the plate, and Cornelius now ahead 0-2. 15 pitches so far in this top of the first inning. Hoping to bring an end to it right here. His 0-2 pitch, and it's on the outside corner for strike 3. So Hudson with an opportunity here in the first inning, putting 2 on with nobody out against Cornelius, but Evan able to settle back down and get out of the jam unscathed. So after a half an inning, it is scoreless here at Pheno Field. Milford about to take their first swings of the game, but before they do, we'll bring you the starting lineup that you're about to see for Milford post 59. Leading it off is their center fielder, Andrew Dennison. The shortstop, Sean McGee, bats second with Evan Cornelius, today's starting pitcher, batting third. Jacob Smith is in the cleanup spot playing first base with Keith Lee, the catcher, batting fifth. Scott Paliuka bats sixth and plays left field with the second baseman, Louis Consigli, batting seventh. Joey McGee hits eighth and plays third base, and in the ninth spot is the right fielder, Nick Koch.
Milford Lions Club, Minuteman Press, Murray Insurance Company.
These two teams met up just once in the regular season, and there were a lot of blowouts in Zone 4 play this year for Milford, but when they matched up with Hudson, it was a very close game. They met early on in the regular season back on June 19th, a game that Milford was able to win by a final score of 6-5. Hudson was the first team and one of few teams this entire season to score more than 3 runs against this Milford pitching staff. They really pushed post 59 in that game. And meanwhile, in the first round of this Zone 4 playoff bracket, there were a lot of low-scoring games. It was really half and half, a couple of 2-1 final scores, with Leominster just edging out North County and Shrewsbury edging out Northborough. Both of those games finishing up with 2-1 final scores. But Leominster a much more comfortable victory, 7-1 over Cherry Valley, in what was thought to be the most competitive matchup in the bracket, with the 4 seed versus the 5, but Hudson winning easily and Milford taking their game against Northbridge 12-2. So 2 offenses that have performed well so far in the playoffs. Milford ready to take their swings here against the Hudson starter, Nick Pavia. Sends the first pitch high for ball 1 against Andrew Dennison, who has found himself regularly now atop this Milford lineup once again. Ahead now 2-0 as those pitches are really popping the mitt. Some good velocity out of Pavia here to start the game. A little bit of a different looking delivery out of Pavia, as that time he delivers a strike. Count goes to 2-1. Dennison making contact this time, sends it foul and out of play, as the count evens now at 2-2. 2-2 pitch now, and again it is floated foul and out of play. Good chatter out of the Milford dugout as that pitch is taken for strike 3. I'm not sure that Dennison agreed, but he'll head back to the dugout, the first strikeout victim for Pavia.
Now batting shortstop, number 3, Sean McGee.
And that will bring up Sean McGee. He takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. McGee had an excellent regular season, solid overall through this 2023 Legion campaign. Comes into today with a batting average at .354, collected 23 hits through his first 65 at bats, 6 doubles, 17 runs batted in. Those 17 runs batted in lead this Milford offense. So he has been very productive. He's also scored 21 runs on the season. Takes a swing at the 2-1 pitch, lifts it foul. Hudson giving it a look, but that ball out of play. Fans continuing to filter in here, and what is, of course, an earlier start time than what we're accustomed to for Legion ball. Not under the lights here tonight for Milford. Getting this game started at 4 p.m. with A busy day of games ahead here at Pheno. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to McGee, and it's sliced foul this time, and that one getting back towards the concession stand in a hurry, hoping everyone was able to get out of the way. Two balls and two strikes, one out, and the base is empty in the bottom of the first. As McGee again sends it foul, making Pavia work here in this at-bat. Pavia back to the set. Another 2-2 pitch on the way. And it's taken on the outside corner for strike three. So back-to-back called strikeouts. And that leaves the inning up to Evan Cornelius. First pitch misses for ball one. Defensively for Hudson, it is Mikey DiCarlo behind the plate, Andrew Melkowski at third, Bobby Long at short, Jackson Sequenzia at second, and Jason Jacobson's at first, as Cornelius keeps this inning going with a line drive back up the middle, good for a base hit. That will allow Jacob Smith to come to the plate in the inning. Completing the defensive alignment for post 100, left to right in the outfield, it is Brendan O'Brien, Marshall Kellum, and Peter Ward. First pitch strike now issued to Jacob Smith. Number 1 seed against the number 4 seed here at Pheno Field, as Smith now sends a foul ball down the left field side out of play. And Smith very quickly down in the count. Pavia now pitching from the stretch. Leaves that pitch low. Good take from Smith. Cornelius a very short lead at first as the pitch is waved out and missed. And that will end the inning. Pavia strikes out the side here in the first with the single for Cornelius mixed in between. And that wraps up a scoreless first inning of play here as we get you started with Zone 4 playoff coverage. It'll continue in just a moment here on Milford TV.
Funded by corporate donations and our fundraisers. At this time, we'd like to thank our executive corporate sponsors and our diamond corporate sponsors. Our executive sponsors include Shooting Star Photography, Vendetti Motors, Wiley and Julian Oil Service. Our diamond sponsors include Dean Bank and Milford Federal Bank. We thank them all for their generous support. One way you can help support Milford Legion is by purchasing tickets to our annual raffle. The first prize is $1,000, second prize is $500, third and fourth prizes are $250. The drawing will take place at our annual banquet on August 8th. You don't need to be present to win. A book of tickets for $6 for 6 tickets for $20 can be purchased at our concession stand. Thank you for your support. Now batting for Hudson is the third baseman, number 24, Andrew Milkowski.
Second inning getting started here at Pheno. Top seed in this Zone 4 bracket, Milford taking on the number 4 seed Hudson post 100. Both teams with base runners in the first inning, but neither able to come through on the scoreboard, so scoreless with Evan Cornelius back out there now for his second inning of work. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now on the number 6 hitter in the Hudson order, Andrew Milkowski. Some patient approaches for a lot of these Hudson hitters, taking some close pitches. Here's a 2-1 pitch now, and that is in for a strike. Milkowski, Sequenzia, and O'Brien, the 3 batters expected in the inning as this pitch misses upstairs. And another full count. Very hot conditions for this game this afternoon, so we'll see if that factors in, especially for these pitchers. Here's the 3-2, and it is fouled away. The reaction from both hitter and catcher indicated that no contact was made as Milkowski immediately headed down the first base line. Lee went after that ball trickling off behind the right side batter's box, but the umpire ruling it a foul ball. So another 3-2 pitch, and it is hit on the ground slowly towards second. Grabbed there by Consigli, and he is able to get the out at first. As we get this game going, the temperature currently stands at 85 degrees with a feels-like temperature of 89, so a little bit of a heat index for this game today. But after a day that kept everyone indoors yesterday with inches of rain falling throughout the state, I think people will take the heat to be able to get out in some dry conditions. Jackson Sequenzia sends a foul ball to the backstop to start his at-bat. 1 out and the base is clear in the top of the second. And that pitch had Sequenzia bending out of the way, but it hits the inside corner for strike 2. Cornelius back into the windup, the pitch. And that pitch at the knees, boy, did that look like a good one. But the umpire kept the hands at his sides to bring the count to 1-2. Lee kept it there for an extra moment. Here's the 1-2 pitch now. And that is on the inside corner for strike 3. And now Sequenzia upset as he was bailing, thinking that pitch was inside. So there's the second K for Cornelius. 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the second. Brendan O'Brien, the left fielder, now digs in. He takes a ball down low. Pitch is tapped towards the third base side, but foul. Should O'Brien reach, we'd see the number 9 hitter, Mikey DiCarlo. Another one misses. The count now at 2 balls and a strike. And even 30 pitches now through an inning and 2/3 for Cornelius. Ready with his next pitch, and it's sent down the first base line, but a foul ball. And so O'Brien will return to the plate with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Long look in this time for Cornelius. Has the pitch he wants. Here's the 2-2. And it's on the outside corner for strike 3. A couple of called strikeouts in the inning for Evan as he settles in with a 1-2-3 second. And that'll send us on to the bottom half of inning number 2. Still scoreless in this Zone 4 playoff matchup between Milford Post 59 and Hudson Post 100 right here on Milford TV.
Johnny Wilbur doing live play-by-play on 101.3 My FM and 1490 AM on your radio dial. WMRC has been broadcasting Milford Legion baseball since 1955. We thank them sincerely for 68 years of support to Legion baseball and the town of Milford. Batting for Milford right now is catcher number 20, Keith Lee.
Keith Lee getting the bottom half of the second inning started with a vicious swing from the first pitch by Nick Pavia. Comes up empty for strike 1. And now a pitch on the outside corner puts Lee down in the count, 0-2. 364 the batting average for Lee. 16 hits so far on the year, also 16 runs batted in. Drives that pitch foul and out of play. So just one back of Sean McGee for the team lead in runs batted in. The impressive number for Lee this season has been walks. He's walked a team high 22 times. Won't do it here as he swings and misses down on strikes, and that's already now the 4th K from Pavia, who has looked very good to start this game. Right now, out-dueling Cornelius in the strikeout department, 4-3. Scott Paliuka now at the plate, fouling one off for a first pitch strike. Left-hander now up against this tough right-handed delivery. A little bit of a hitch there in the windup for Nick Pavia. Here's the 1-1 now. And this is hit hard down the left field line, but it's foul. Paliuka batting .346. 18 hits in 52 at-bats, a couple of doubles, 13 runs batted in. An 847 OPS for Paliuka as he takes that pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. So we talk about the delivery from Pavia, and there's no question that it is impacting these Milford hitters right now who have struck out 5 times in 6 at-bats so far in this game. And 3 of those 5 strikeouts have been called strikeouts. As Louis Consigli looks to get on base here to keep the inning alive for Milford. 1-0 pitch, late on the cut. So right now 2 pitchers operating in this game with plus velocity. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that just misses. We don't have stats on Pavia on the season, but certainly looking like an ace caliber pitcher out on the mound through these early innings. As the 2-1 pitch misses a bit high. So Consigli ahead in the count. If he reaches, it would give Joey McGee a chance to bat. Getting loud in the Milford dugout. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it is high for ball 4. So the second base runner now for Milford. And as Joey McGee comes to the plate, we've got coaches' visits all around the field as the Hudson coaching staff comes out to talk things over surprisingly a bit with Nick Pavia, who has been in command here through the early portion of this game. Ends up just being a quick conversation. A 2-out walk prompting that brief mound visit. Coach DeVito taking the chance to have a quick chat with Joey McGee before he stands in. McGee with the batting average at .269. He's appeared in 11 games so far on the season, 26 at-bats. Sends that pitch on the ground towards first, a foot race to the bag, and Jacobsons will win it to get the out that retires the side. So Milford again will strand a 2-out base runner. And that takes us through 2 full innings of play now here at Pheno Field. Nothing on the scoreboard yet in this Zone 4 playoff matchup, coming to you live here on Milford TV.
I was just informed that we have limited supplies of jerseys left, so if you're interested in a merchandise item, please feel free to stroll over to the table and
Certainly feeling like playoff baseball here at Pheno into the top of the third inning. Quality pitching on both sides, a scoreless game so far. And a big fastball gets a swing and a miss from the number 9 hitter in the Hudson lineup, Mikey DiCarlo. And now that pitch drops in for a called strike 2. Cornelius allowing the first 2 batters of the game to reach on a walk and a base hit. He's retired the last 6 hitters in a row since, 4 of them, I should say 3 of them by way of the K. And there on cue is the 4th strikeout. So meanwhile, 3 of the 4 strikeouts, check that, all 4 strikeouts so far from Cornelius have all been on called strike 3. So both of these pitchers really fooling the opposing lineups through these early innings. We'll see what happens as we go second time now through the Hudson lineup. Marshall Kellum now up again. He swings at the first pitch and pops it foul and out of play. Kellum engaged in a long at-bat with Cornelius to open the game. Ended up with a walk. Advanced to third base in the inning, but Cornelius was able to hold a couple of runners in scoring position in that inning. 1 out deep now in the top of the third. A 1-1 pitch now, and that's in for strike 2. Again, it feels like temperature bordering on 90 degrees. Full sun, not an easy one for these players. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. So there's the first swinging strikeout. That's strikeout number 5 for Cornelius, and right now these pitchers are matching each other blow for blow. 5 Ks for each starter. 2 down now in the third. And here is Bobby Long, who has the only hit against Cornelius so far. Sent a first pitch ground ball that shot back up the middle for a base hit. 40 pitches now in the outing for Cornelius. As that pitch spikes in the dirt, that got a piece of the umpire. Keith Lee hand delivering the baseball to give the ump a little bit of time. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and the base is empty. Cornelius now ready with another pitch. Another one that doesn't miss by much. This is where we'd love to be able to have that camera angle in from center field to be able to see those pitches straight on. 2-1 offering now, and this is sent on the ground, but right in the direction of Louis Consigli, who fires it over to first base for the out that ends the inning, as Cornelius retires the side in order once again. 3 up, 3 down, on to the bottom half of the third inning. It is Milford 0 and Hudson 0 in this Zone 4 playoff action, coming to you right here on Milford TV.
We'd like to thank our executive sponsors, Shooting Star Photography, Vendetti Motors, Wiley and Julian Oil Service. Diamond sponsors include Dean Bank, Milford Federal Bank. Our gold sponsors include Raza and Mancini, Clark, Consigli and Brocato, the Boken Citizens Club, Italian American War Veterans, Milford Permanent Firefighters Association, and Unibank. We thank all of our corporate sponsors for their generous support year after year.
A first pitch fastball poured in by Nick Pavia, as right now we are sitting front row to a heavyweight bout between Evan Cornelius and Nick Pavia, and it has been an entertaining one through the early innings. These two pitchers bringing their A game to this Zone 4 playoff matchup. Milford sending batters 9, 1, and 2 to the plate in the bottom of the third. Nick Koch golfing that pitch foul as he falls behind 1 and 2. 37 pitches for Nick Pavia, as he has allowed just 2 base runners through his first 2 innings of work. And now a ground ball hit to third base, a diving attempt by Andrew Malkowski. The ball deflects out into shallow left center. And so Nick Koch will reach here to start off this third inning.
Now batting Andrew Dennison.
It was a nice effort on a bounding ball by the third baseman Malkowski, who now comes in on the grass as Dennison comes up for the second time. We'll give Koch the benefit of an infield base hit there. Not an easy play as Dennison sends that ball foul. So the second hit for Milford, with the first time they've had the leadoff man on. They've had 2 out base runners in each of the first 2 innings. Once again, Hudson respecting Dennison's speed and bunting ability as they bring that third baseman several steps in on the grass. Dennison showing bunt, sends it softly down the first base line, keeps it on the dirt. High throw to first base, gets away. Dennison will stay at first base as Koch goes first to third. And there is Dennison again forcing the action, forcing a perfect throw there. And it ends up going over the head of the first baseman, and a throwing error now sets up runners at the corners with nobody out for Milford. Just an outstanding bunt, stayed on the dirt. Pitcher had to field that ball. I beg your... It was indeed, it was Pavia fielding. It was the second baseman covering the bag, which ended up likely being the determining factor. Had it been Jacobson's with his height, he probably would have been able to pull that throw down, but it went over the head of Sequenzia. So likely ruling a bunt base hit and then a throwing error to allow the runner to advance. E1, the first error in the game. And so now it is Milford's RBI leader up in a good RBI situation. Sean McGee was 0 for 1 this afternoon with a strikeout. Takes that pitch for a strike. Totally different look from Pavia out of the windup versus the stretch. Pavia checking on Dennison over first, able to get back standing. You would think Dennison would be on the move here in this situation. Unlikely that you'd see Hudson throw through down to second. There he goes. And they do send a throw down at 1 hops. Dennison safely in with the steal. No attempt to score from third base by Koch. It was a low throw. Pavia had to duck for cover. So a stolen base for Andrew Dennison and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on McGee. As the pitch is low. That's the 8th stolen base of the season for Dennison. Not a surprise that that is by far the team lead. A full count on McGee now with 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's on just off the outside corner. Ooh, another close pitch That misses for ball 4. The umpire apparently relaying into the third base dugout that that pitch was a little low. Boy, was that close. So the bases are loaded now with nobody out, and Evan Cornelius at the plate, a chance to help his own cause here on the pitcher's mound. And Evan takes the first pitch for strike 1. Cornelius was able to single with 2 outs in the first inning. So he is 1 for 1 today. And now sends a high chopper to the left side. The throw to the plate gets the out there on Koch. The throw to first base not in time for a double play. So a nice job there for Bobby Long to pull that ball down. Send a good throw into home plate to cut down the first potential run of the game. So Koch is out. Cornelius is safe on the fielder's choice. And the bases are reloaded now with 1 out for Jacob Smith. Smith struck out in his first at bat. Hudson in tight at the corners as Smith now sends this ball on a bounce to first base, out of the glove of the first baseman. Now the throw over to first is in time to get the out there. Milford will get a run. So that ball went in and out of Jacobson's glove. Needed the pitcher to come over and cover the bag. He was able to recover in time to get an out. But Milford, meanwhile, gets a run in the exchange, so they break this deadlock and take a 1-0 lead. A bang-bang play at first base. You could see Coach Wynn over there was signaling for Smith to slide into first base. He went in standing up. And so Jacobson's able to get the throw in there just in time. So really no error on the play. It'll end up going as a 3-1 ground out. Jacob Smith will get an RBI on the play as Dennison scores. So it is runners at second and third now with 2 outs. Keith Lee sends a fly ball out to right field that is handled by Peter Ward. And so Milford not exactly able to maximize the damage here. They have the bases loaded with nobody out in the inning, and they only end up scratching across 1 run. So a nice job there for Pavia to minimize things. But Post 59 does take a lead. It is 1-0 now in favor of Milford, as we'll start the 4th inning when we come back next here on Milford TV.
Cold drinks. Please stroll on over to the concession stand. Again, 100% of our proceeds go directly to the Milford Legion Baseball Club. Thank you for your support.
Milford now with 1 run on 3 hits with no errors. Hudson, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Milford able to just barely scratch across a run in the bottom of the 3rd inning, as meanwhile Peter Ward leads off the top half of the 4th with a ball hit over to the 3rd baseman Joey McGee, who is able to handle it for the 5-3 out. Ward now 0 for 2. As now Colin Kessinger will get his 2nd look at Evan Cornelius. Evan has really settled down after pitching out of danger in the 1st. Now a half swing. This ball tapped foul towards the backstop off of Kessinger's bat. He sent one on the ground back to the pitcher's mound. Really a big play in that top of the 1st inning with 2 in scoring position and only 1 out. Kept the runners in place, and Cornelius eventually struck out Jacobson's to end the inning, and Hudson has not had a base runner since. One ball and 1 strike now to the Hudson designated hitter. We'll start to paint some more of the picture of what to expect moving forward in these zone playoffs as this inning progresses. First a 1-1 pitch, and that's on the outside corner for strike 2. Again, this is the 2nd official day of tournament play after everything was postponed yesterday. This ball sent down the left field line. Paliuka racing into foul territory. Oh, he was there, but the ball squirted out of his glove, and it will land foul. At first glance, it didn't look like he had a chance to get there, and instead might have overran the ball, had to kind of reach back for it, and couldn't secure it in the glove, and that will give Kessinger another life at the plate with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 50th pitch from Cornelius. It's a sky-high pop-up. Lee giving a look, and that drifts over the backstop and out of play. Hoping that ball didn't come down and tear a hole through our canopy behind the backstop, but that bounced a little bit behind our position. So we're here right up close to the action. Here's the next pitch, and that's high for ball 2. So there are 2 hubs of activity for the Zone 4 playoffs here today, with Pheno Field being one, and the field up in Leominster being the other. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's in for a called strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Cornelius, and there are 2 outs now in the inning. So high stakes for the winner of this game here today. Whoever wins has a chance to enjoy the rest of the day off. The loser of this game will have to hang around and play a nightcap later on this evening. As that pitch misses for ball 1 into Jason Jacobson's. Game 2 will feature a loser's bracket matchup, an elimination game between Northborough and North County. That game expected to get underway around 6:15. The loser of that game will be eliminated. The winner will take on the loser of this game in a 3rd game slated here at Pheno later on tonight. Right now, tentatively scheduled for 8:30 p.m. So 3 games on the schedule. We won't know that Game 3 matchup until the first 2 games are complete. But one of the participants will be the loser of this first game. The other will be the winner of the second game. And that same exact scenario is playing out up at Leominster's field as well. We'll give you the teams involved in that after this next pitch. Here's the 2-0 now, and that's well outside. Yanked towards the left side batter's box by Cornelius, who falls behind Jason Jacobson's now 3 balls and no strikes. Jacobson's taking all the way. He takes strike one. The matchup of 1-0 teams in the 4 o'clock start at Leominster is Leominster themselves along with Shrewsbury. As this 3-1 pitch misses for ball 4. So Jacobson's works the second walk today against Cornelius. That breaks up a string of 11 consecutive batters retired by Cornelius and gives Andrew Malkowski a chance to bat in the inning. And the first pitch misses for ball 1. So Leominster and Shrewsbury, who each notched 2-1 victories against their competition on Saturday. They're about an hour underway right now. The second game will feature Cherry Valley versus Northbridge in an elimination game. As this ball is hit over towards third base, McGee sure throw over to first base. Malkowski is retired, and so the 2-out walk proves to be harmless. And so we'll continue to discuss the breakdown of this Zone 4 playoff tournament when we return for the bottom half of the 4th inning. That's next. Stay with us here on Milford TV.
Our blue sponsors include Butters House, Easy Way Car Wash, Garrier and Hellman, Mass Real Estate Group, Milford Lions Club, Minuteman Trust, Murray Insurance Company, O'Reilly's Market, and Whitensville Monumental Works. Our Legion baseball boosters include Afonso Real Estate, Area Loomis Sargent Funeral Home, Consigley Funeral Home, Jean's Variety, Greater Milford Social Club, Medway Oil, Murray Law Office, Plains Automotive, Science Plus, and Watson Funeral Home. We thank all of our corporate sponsors for their generous support year after year in support of Milford Legion Baseball.
Scott Paliuka, Louis Consigli, and Joey McGee, the 3 Milford batters expected in the bottom of the 4th. As Nick Pavia unleashes a fastball high. A 1-0 Milford lead as we reach the midway point in this game. Milford has had the better of the scoring opportunities, in particular in the 3rd inning where they had the bases loaded with nobody out. But Pavia did an excellent job of limiting the contact from Milford, kept the ball for the most part on the infield, and were it not for the ball popping out of the first baseman's glove on that ball put in play by Jacob Smith, Milford might have been held off the scoreboard. Meanwhile, a 3-ball, 1-strike count to Paliuka. And takes that pitch on the outside corner to fill the count. Similar pitch counts for these 2 starters. 56 pitches so far for Pavia. Here's his 3-2, and it's hit on the ground to second base. Handled by Sequenzia, gets the throw over to first base, and Paliuka is out number 1. So again, that action happening over at Leominster's McLaughlin Field. Leominster versus Shrewsbury. We'll see if we can get a score update in that game, as they should be a good ways into that one. Cherry Valley and Northbridge in an elimination game that is set for a 6:15 start, and then the winner of that game will take on the loser of Game 1 in a game expected to start somewhere in the neighborhood of 8:30 this evening. So all of the remaining Zone 4 teams in action today. 2 will be eliminated before action concludes. A 2-ball, no strike count now on Lewis Consigli, who walked his first time up. And finds himself ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Consigli walked 9 times coming into this game today. Thought he had worked one there, but a late strike call brings the count to 3-1. And now that pitch misses high, so a second walk on the day for Consigli. On base here with 1 down. And Joey McGee now coming to the plate. And a conversation now between Pavia and his battery mate, Mikey DiCarlo. Before
Now batting
Joey McGee stands in. It's been just a bit of a breeze, enough to cool things down just a little bit for the spectators, but not enough to even move that American flag out in left center field, so not really impacting the field of play. Hazy skies overhead. Very warm, humid temperatures. As Pavia misfires into Joey McGee. And now puts that one at the knees for a called strike. Grounded out to first base his first time up. And now hits one hard and foul up against the backstop. Down now 1-2. Pavia shaking off the sign from DiCarlo. Now has what he wants. And drops it in for strike 3. So Pavia gets his 6th strikeout.
Now batting Nick Coe.
After striking out 5 of the first 6 batters he faced. It's the first K for Pavia since. Brings the second out now in this 4th inning, leaves it up to Nick Koch. Koch touched off the rally last inning, reaching on an infield base hit. Now sends one softly in front of the plate. Nice move by DiCarlo to pounce on that ball. Sends a good throw down the first base line to get Koch on the 2-1 ground out. 2-3 ground out, I should say. And that quickly brings an end to the bottom of the 4th inning. So we've played 4 now in this Zone 4 playoff matchup. And it is still Milford 1 and Hudson nothing here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV.
Thank you for your generous support and in play. Good luck to you. Now batting for Hudson, Jackson Sequenzia.
Bottom third of the Hudson order coming to the plate as we have reached the top half of the fifth inning. These teams have combined for just 4 hits through the first 4 innings. Cornelius back out there. His next pitch will be his 60th on the day as he faces the Hudson second baseman Jackson Sequenzia, who goes after an elevated pitch, cannot make contact. And he is down in the count, 0-2. Sequenzia struck out looking his first time up against Cornelius. Here's the 0-2, and that's on the inside corner for strike 3. And Sequenzia baffled as he heads back to the dugout.
Coming up to bat is Brandon O'Brien.
7 strikeouts now for Evan Cornelius. As he now will deal with the left fielder Brendan O'Brien for the second time. O'Brien takes the pitch for strike 1. He struck out looking. All of these bottom 3 hitters in the lineup for Hudson struck out looking against Cornelius their first time up. A big swing and a miss. Trying to catch up to this velocity of Evan Cornelius, which we know sits in the low 90s. Here is his 0-2, and that's in for strike 3.
Now batting is Mikey
6
DeCarlo.
pitches and 2 strikeouts to begin this 5th inning for Cornelius, now ready to deal with the catcher Mikey DeCarlo. And the first pitch narrowly misses for ball 1, so everyone perhaps perched towards the edge of their seat wondering if they'd see the immaculate inning from Cornelius here. It delivers ball 1 to DeCarlo on a pitch that did not miss by much and now immediately fires in a strike. The 1-1 now, and this is hit back up the middle past Cornelius, and it is not handled cleanly by Sean McGee, traveling in front of the second base bag, and DeCarlo's going to reach here. The softly hit ball, but a play that McGee could have made, so we'll put it in the books as an E6. Milford's first error of the game keeps this 5th inning going and allows Hudson to turn their lineup over now 3rd time through. Marshall Kellum, who has walked and struck out through 2 plate appearances. So DeCarlo, just the 4th base runner that Hudson has had all day. Modest lead at first. Cornelius, who has not had to pitch with runners on very often in this game since the 1st inning, falling behind Kellum 2-0. Finds the strike zone there to bring it to 2-1. Kellum with the only swinging strikeout against Cornelius this afternoon. Makes contact on this pitch, but sends it foul over the 3rd base dugout and off into the trees. So the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Base runner over at first. Cornelius ready. Here is the pitch. It's high. Lee out of the crouch looks that runner back to the first base bag. It's a full count now to Kellum. Bobby Long waiting on deck. Payoff pitch, high for ball 4. So the first 2 batters of the inning retired on 6 pitches, all strikes. Looked to be another fast inning for Cornelius, but the error at shortstop allowed DiCarlo to reach, and now Kellum works his second walk of the game against Evan Cornelius. And suddenly there's 2 aboard with 2 outs. A tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run at first, and a conversation now taking place on the pitcher's mound. With Cornelius and every member of the Milford infield, with the exception of Jacob Smith, who abstained from the conversation, remaining over at first. So a chance for Bobby Long, who does have the 1 Hudson hit so far in this game. It was a ground ball base hit back up the middle in the first inning. He takes the first pitch for strike 1. Single in the first, and then a ground out to second base in the third inning. And now a ground ball hit through the left side. They'll wave the runner around from second base. Here comes Paliuka's throw. It's going to be cut off. The throw now into second base is going to be there in time to get Kellum, who wandered too far away from the second base bag. But the run does score, so it's an RBI single for Long, who's able to collect another hit off of Cornelius. And this time a run batted in to go along with it. And so the inning comes to an end with the score now tied. So it is Milford 1 and Hudson 1 as we head on to the bottom of the 5th inning in a tight Zone 4 playoff game here on Milford TV. So a new ball game now, tied at 1. As Nick Pavia issues ball 1 high to Andrew Denizen. Milford now going 3rd time through the lineup. Hudson with a little 2-out rally to bring the tying run home. It all started on that little ground ball that got past the mound that Sean McGee couldn't play cleanly. After the walk to Kellum, pushed DiCarlo into scoring position. Bobby Long with a second hit of the game. The only 2 hits that Hudson has so far this afternoon. Able to bring DiCarlo to the plate to tie the game. Milford getting Marshall Kellum out at second base, getting a little too aggressive on the bases. As meanwhile, Andrew Denizen leads off this inning with a ground out to third base. So he is now 1 for 3. And now here is Sean McGee at the plate. He's been so good in all aspects of the game this season, but a costly error defensively. We'll see if he can atone here at the plate. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. 73 pitches now for Nick Pavia through 4 1/3 innings. And has McGee off balance on the swing as he falls behind in the count, 0-2. Strikeout in the first inning for Sean, then he walked in the third. As part of that bases loaded Milford rally. Down quickly. Seventh strikeout for Pavia. 2 down, and now Cornelius at the plate. Last time Cornelius was at the dish, he had the bases loaded with nobody out. Ended up sending a chopper to the left side. Hudson able to cut down a runner at home plate. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Cornelius trying to hold up on the swing, and that ball grabbed a piece of his bat. Now that pitch misses inside, clips off of DiCarlo's glove, goes to the backstop. 3-1. Cornelius looking to keep this inning alive. Should he do so, we'd see Jacob Smith at the plate. Instead, Cornelius swings away, sends a bounding ball back up the middle. It's fielded by Bobby Long, who makes a good throw over to first base to get the out that ends the inning. So Pavia, a shutdown 1-2-3 frame after his offense comes back to tie the score. So a potential shift in momentum here in the later innings. We move on to the 6th. This game up for grabs. It is Milford 1 and Hudson 1. A good one in the making here on Milford TV.
Our executive sponsors include Shooting Star Photography, Vendetti Motors, Wiley and Julian Oil Service. Our diamond sponsors include Dean Bank and Milford Federal Bank. We thank all of our corporate sponsors for their generous support. Our annual Milford Legion banquet will be held on August 8th. We'd love to see your support there to celebrate our year for our Milford Legion Baseball Club. For more details, please see Dickie Fruchery over by the concession stand. Thank you, Dickie.
this pitcher's duel heading into the late innings. Evan Cornelius out for his 6th inning of work. He has thrown 76 pitches through his first 5 innings, allowing 1 unearned run on 2 hits, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. On the other side, Nick Pavia through 5 innings has allowed 1 run on 3 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 7, so nearly identical lines for these 2 starters. Cornelius will now deal with the heart of this Hudson lineup, starting with Peter Ward out of the number 3 spot, and he takes the first pitch for strike 1. Ward 0 for 2. He's lined out to second base and grounded out to third. Happy to have everyone who's joined us for this live coverage here tonight, whether you're with us locally on our Milford TV educational channel or Verizon HD 2140, or you've jumped on our live stream on our YouTube page at youtube.com/MyMilfordTV. So happy to have you with us, enjoying all of the sights and sounds of Milford Legion baseball with us here on Milford TV. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now to Peter Ward. And that pitch in for strike 3. Strikeout number 9 for Cornelius. I also want to acknowledge our crew dealing with this extreme heat to bring you this live coverage today. Our director is Scott Crisafulli, and our camera operator is Milford TV producer celebrating a birthday with us here today, Patrick Garapi. So we are thrilled to have Patrick on the coverage once again, doing outstanding camera work. As meanwhile, Colin Kessinger delivers a line drive through the right side of the infield for a base hit. So the first Hudson hitter other than Bobby Long to collect a hit off of Cornelius. It's the 3rd hit now for Hudson, so the box score identical for these 2 teams right now. A run on 3 hits and 1 error apiece for these 2 teams, with 1 out in the top of the 6th. The go-ahead run is on the bases now for Hudson. And if you're a Milford fan, you have to start looking back to that bottom of the 3rd inning. A bases loaded, no-out opportunity where Milford was only able to walk away with a single run. As now Hudson delivers another base hit out to right field, this time off the bat of Jackson Jacobson's. Kessinger moves up to second base and holds there, so all of a sudden, Hudson's starting to make contact off of Cornelius. 2 aboard with only 1 out. As you would expect in an Evan Cornelius start, the bullpen is quiet.
Now batting, Andrew Milkowski.
83 pitches now for Cornelius. And a jam now in the 6th inning, 2 on, 1 out. And the third baseman, Andrew Milkowski, at the plate. He has to spin out of the way of that pitch for ball 1. Milkowski 0 for 2 so far. A pair of groundouts, 1 to second, 1 to third. Cornelius would certainly take a ground ball here for a potential inning-ending double play. A snap throw down to second base, and fortunately, Consigli was there to back up that throw that got over McGee's head. I'm not sure if that was by design. If so, that's risky. The 2-0 pitch now is swung on and missed. Remember, the loser of this game has to hang around the ballpark and play another game much later on this evening. 2-1 pitch is lifted in the air out to center. Dennison in trouble. He couldn't find it at first, and it's going to be over his head. And this is going to allow Hudson to take the lead. Here comes the runner around from second base to score. Kessinger comes around to give Hudson the lead. It is 2-1. On a routine fly ball, and that's also a product of playing at this time of day, a hazy, cloud-covered sky. Dennison, you could tell right off the bat, was in trouble, spinning around out in center field. That ball landed behind him, and it goes for an RBI double for Andrew Malkowski. And Hudson has battled back to take a 2-1 lead, and now a chance to do more damage with 2 in scoring position and still 1 out in the inning. Jackson Sequenzia now at the plate. So it's been a much different situation here as this ball comes down the third base line, eventually kicks into foul territory. Just 3 base runners through the first 4 innings against Cornelius, but all of a sudden with 2 outs last inning, batter reaches on an error, and since then, altogether, 6 of the last 7 batters have reached against Cornelius. On an error, a walk, 3 singles, and a double. Milford was fortunate to get out of last inning on the base running blunder at second base by Marshall Kellum. But Hudson has absolutely stolen the momentum in this game. Milford with the infield in tight all the way around, an 0-2 pitch now. Sequenzia lays off on the swing. Now a 1-2 pitch. And Sequenzia just able to make contact to stay alive. This is a Milford offense that scored a total of 197 runs coming into this game today, but we've had a hard time offensively as Cornelius battles back to get another strikeout against Sequenzia. He has gone down on strikes 3 times now today. That's the 10th strikeout for Cornelius. Two down in the inning, everyone back to standard depth on the infield now with Brendan O'Brien at the plate. He slices the first pitch foul for strike 1. O'Brien has also struck out twice against Cornelius today. A 1 pitch now, and it's hit softly towards the left side, and it is booted by the shortstop McGee. He applies a tag over at third base, but Malkowski is safe. Another run comes in for Hudson on the second error of the day by Sean McGee. Milford cannot get out of the inning, and it is now 3-1 Hudson. On a ball that did not escape the infield. It should have been the third out. The only thing you can say for McGee there in that situation is there was a lot of activity on the left side with the runner cutting in front. Might have obscured his vision, but still a play that he could have made. And so a costly E6 brings in the second unearned run against Cornelius. And it is now 3-1 Hudson. Post 100 with runners at the corners as we get a timeout here as the home plate umpire speaking to the Hudson players in the third base dugout, telling them to not direct comments towards any of the Milford players on the field. So Jacobson's ended up scoring on that play. Malkowski safely to third. O'Brien at first now. Runners at the corners. And for Milford, with how tough Pavia has been on the other side, they can't really afford to fall any further behind. It's not something that we typically say about this Milford offense, but Pavia has been in command on the other side, with the one exception of that third inning. Cornelius again ahead in the count against the number 9 man, DiCarlo. As the runner, meanwhile, takes off from first base, Cornelius pays absolutely no attention. And so O'Brien advances into scoring position on the defensive indifference. Cornelius, full focus on this man at the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And it's sent down the right field line in foul territory, and that sends the Milford fans ducking out of the way. Some canopies set up down that right field line today to try to allow these fans to escape the heat. Milford trying to escape the heat from this Hudson offense in the 6th inning. They've plated 2 runs to take the lead, threatening for more with 2 in scoring position. Another 0-2 pitch, and it's high for ball 1. One-two now. And another close pitch doesn't go Evans' way. And from an 0-2 count, it's now back to even. The next pitch for Cornelius will be his 100th of the game. Here it is. And it's in for strike 3. So Evan finishes off the inning with his 11th K, but the damage is done for Hudson. Malkowski with a blue RBI double, and then an unearned run crosses the plate on an error at shortstop, and all of a sudden Hudson 6 outs away from the upset. They take a 3-1 lead here against Milford, and the entire Milford team huddled around their head coach to talk in between innings. We'll see what this post-59 offense can do when they come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th inning next here on Milford TV.
If you have that number, please walk over to the gate and you'll find Kristen and Rich ready to give you your please. Thanks so much for playing. After the game today, please be sure to tune into 101.3 IFM for the post-game show and player of the game. Now batting for Milford, Jacob Smith.
Well, Milford finding themselves in a position that they have rarely been in this 2023 season, trailing late in a game. Yes, the first pitch of the inning is sent foul and out of play off the bat of Jacob Smith. It is now Hudson with 3 runs on 5 hits and an error. Milford 1 run, just 3 hits and an error. This is a Milford team that came into action today, 22-2 on the season. They were nearly perfect against Zone 4 competition this season. Their only 2 losses, one came in tournament play against Concord, New Hampshire back on June 25th, and then they did lose a Zone 4 game late in the season, a 10-6 game against Eastside on the road last Wednesday. But for the most part, they were able to handle their Zone 4 opponents, and they were able to handle them with ease. That Eastside game, the only opponent that was able to notch double-digit runs against Milford this season. As Jacob Smith hangs in there, barely making contact with that pitch. Meanwhile, Nick Pavia still out on the mound. He is 84 pitches deep into his outing. About to deliver a 1-2 pitch. It is sent foul again and out of play. Pavia ready with his next, and it's high, pops out of DeCarlo's mitt. The count evens now for the Milford first baseman, Jacob Smith. He was credited with Milford's lone RBI today on that bizarre 3-1 ground out play in the 3rd inning. And now sends a ground ball again towards first base. Diving play for Jacobson, sends the throw to the pitcher, who's able to just get there in time for the out. Took Jacobson's a moment or two to get that ball out of the glove. But the out ends up going 3-1. Milford will look for something out of Keith Lee. The middle of the lineup has been particularly quiet for Milford. Their 3 through 6 hitters have just 1 hit in the game. Evan Cornelius has been on base twice on a single and a fielder's choice. Other than that, batters 4 through 6. A combined 0 for 7. Keith Lee himself 0 for 2. He struck out swinging in the 2nd and then flew out to right field as Milford stranded the bases loaded in the 3rd. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count now on Lee. That pitch dots the outside corner as the count evens at 2. Milford starting to feel the pressure here. They have just 5 outs now left to work with. In a 2-run deficit. He spoils that pitch, foul and out of play. Two and 2. Now timeout granted at the plate. Game 2 of this Zone 4 playoff action at Pheno Field here today will feature Northborough against North County. I'm sure both of those teams are hovering around the field here somewhere as Lee is off balance on the swing. Down on strikes, and I'm sure as Northborough and North County make their way to the field here today, they will be most surprised at the current state of the scoreboard. Milford certainly considered the very heavy favorite in these Zone 4 playoffs given their regular season prowess. But right now, regular season accomplishments really mean nothing as the season starts over again. And for Milford, they find themselves on the ropes here now in the late innings. Down to their last 4 outs. The bases are empty here in the 6th inning with 2 outs. And Scott Paliuka hoping he can generate a 2-out rally. Scott is 0 for 2 this afternoon with a strikeout and a ground out. As Pavia misses high for ball 1. Pavia, who was able to navigate through some early inning issues with minimal damage on the scoreboard. For Cornelius, his challenges have come later in the game, and of course, much of the damage done on the scoreboard has been because of Milford's defense, really. You can't really argue with Cornelius's pitching. 2 of the 3 runs are unearned, and really the third run a product of Andrew Dennison, unable to find that ball out in center field that led to the RBI double from Melkowski. Meanwhile, it's a 1-2 count now on Paliuka. Here's the pitch. And a tapper hit foul as Scott stays alive. The pace of this game has slowed down a bit through these later innings. We breezed through the first 4 in about 60 minutes. Pavia back to the set. Here's his 1-2 pitch. And again, Paliuka is able to fight it off. And so it is now Nick Pavia who is about to throw his 100th pitch of the game. As Paliuka is granted time. The bullpens have remained quiet, although it does look like perhaps behind the third base dugout, Hudson has gotten some throwing in. Paliuka settles back in on the left side. Another 1-2 pitch upcoming, and it's a ground ball hit weakly to second base. It is bobbled, but the throw from Sequenzia gets there in time for the out that ends the inning. Another 1-2-3 frame for Pavia. He has set down the last 8 consecutive batters he has faced, and we will head on to the 7th inning with 2 pitchers at an even 100 pitches apiece, but we're not even on the scoreboard. Hudson with a 3-1 lead. Cornelius back out to the mound to pitch the 7th. It will get underway in just a moment here on Milford TV. So Evan Cornelius back out on the mound for the top of the 7th inning, where he will now traverse this Hudson lineup for a 4th time. And these top 2 hitters in the Hudson lineup have been a problem for Cornelius, particularly Kellum, who has been very patient, working a couple of walks, and now dumps a pitch out into right field for a hit. It is boxed around in right field by Koch. The throw, though, into second base. close play. I beg your pardon, it was cut off to the right side of second base by Consigli, so that will go as a leadoff single for Kellum. And an error in right field by Nick Koch that allows the runner to get into scoring position. So a big insurance run for Hudson in scoring position with nobody out. And now the batter that has been the most troublesome of the day against Cornelius, Bobby Long, who is 2 for 3 with an RBI. And he jumps ahead in the count 2-0. And you have to wonder how much Cornelius has left in the tank at this point. Again, pitching in near 90-degree heat, 103 pitches deep into his outing. Here's his 2-0. That is low. Nice block for Keith Lee. So Milford now with their third error of the game. Their defense has let them down in this one. Now a called strike as Long was showing bunt, pulled the bat back. A big lead at second base for Kellum. A 3-1 sent on the ground foul wide of third base. A lot of traffic on the bases in these later innings against Cornelius. Hudson's been able to make their adjustments. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And it's in for strike 3. Long thought he had worked the walk, but gets the bad news from the umpire. So that's strikeout number 12 for Cornelius. And Coach DeVito now out to the pitcher's mound. He's going to take the baseball from Cornelius. So Evan's day is done. Looks like we might see Evan remain in the game defensively, likely taking over at first base, but we'll let you know all the changes here for post 59 after a quick timeout. A pitching change here at Pheno with Milford trailing Hudson 3-1. We'll continue in this top of the 7th inning in just a moment here on Milford TV. So it ends up going as a straight swap of positions. Evan Cornelius, his day on the mound is done. He takes over at first base, and Jacob Smith moves in from first base to take over in relief with one out in this top of the 7th inning. So Cornelius ends up going 6 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs, 1 earned on 5 hits. He can make it 6 hits with the single to lead off this inning by Kellum. He walked 3, struck out 12, but right now is on the hook potentially for the loss if Milford can't come back. Cornelius is responsible for Marshall Kellum, who is at second base. And so Jacob Smith now set to face Peter Ward out of the number 3 spot in the batting order for Hudson. And so meanwhile, Jacob Smith, with limited action on the pitcher's mound during the regular season, made just 3 appearances, all of them in relief, throwing just a total of 5 innings on the season. He was an effective late inning reliever for Milford. He collected 2 saves on the season. Has not allowed a run through those 5 innings of work. As meanwhile, they have the runner caught, but Kellum able to get safely into third. So Kellum continues to be impressive on the bases. And so that insurance run now getting closer, standing at third base with 1 down in the inning. And a 1-ball, no strike count to Ward. Pitch misses high. 2-0 now the count on Ward. Smith allowed just 4 hits through his 5 innings of work in the regular season. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And now gives up a base hit down the left field line into the corner. Kellum scores easily. It's extra bases for Ward. He collects his first hit of the game. And Hudson able to tack on that insurance run. It is now 4-1 Hudson. Second double of the game for post 100.
Now batting is Colin Kessinger.
And so you can now officially close the book on Cornelius. Ends up allowing 4 runs, 2 earned in his outing. Still 1 out in the inning, a runner in scoring position yet again, as Colin Kessinger takes an off-balance hack for strike 1. Kessinger started the rally last inning with a single. He came around to score one of the 2 runs plated by Hudson in the 6th. Smith not particularly sharp so far coming into this game. Now delivers a strike to even the count, so should Milford not mount a comeback in the bottom half of this inning, they will have to stick around and play a game later on this evening. 1-2 pitch is hit on the ground towards first base. Cornelius has it, has to hustle over to first base to get the out. Smith a little late breaking to cover the bag. But Kessinger out 3 unassisted, but on the play, Ward is able to advance to third base with now 2 down.
Now batting for Hudson is Jason Jacobson.
And so now Jason Jacobson's up for the 4th time. He's been on base twice, a walk and a single. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th inning, Milford will have the bottom of their order due up. Lewis Consigli, Joey McGee, and Nick Koch. 1-0 pitch is slapped on the ground to third. McGee has it. Long throw across the diamond, gets there in time for the out that ends the inning. But Hudson plates an insurance run, and Milford will have to come from behind in dramatic fashion as Hudson will carry a 4-1 lead into the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll see what Milford can do when we come back next here on Milford TV.
Our concession stand remains open. Please take a stroll over for some fried dough, burgers, hot dogs, french fries, nice cold drinks. All the proceeds from our profits go to Milford Legion Baseball Club. We thank you for your support.
So here we go, the Milford fans trying to spark a rally here as they get loud in support of Milford. Lewis Consigli will lead off this bottom of the 7th inning against the Hudson starter, Nick Pavia, who has been outstanding. He is now 102 pitches deep in his outing. He has scattered a run on 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Consigli has been patient against Pavia in this game. He has walked both times he has come to the plate. And now sends a little flare out to shallow right field. But the catch is made by Peter Ward, positioned well. Milford down to their final 2 outs. This is the first time all season that a bottom of the 7th inning has been necessary here at Pheno. Milford has been automatic here at home. Joey McGee now at the plate. He takes a first pitch strike. Now that one narrowly misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. McGee has grounded out to first and struck out looking against Pavia today. Now sends a ball to the right side, and a diving catch is made by Jackson Sequenzia. That ball looked to be ticketed for right field, but Sequenzia robs McGee of a hit. A sparkling defensive play for the Hudson second baseman, and post 100 now 1 out away from a major upset victory. And meanwhile, the pitch count limit is reached for Pavia, so he will exit the game with the bases empty and 2 outs. Just unable to finish this one off. And he is all smiles as he gets high fives from his teammates as he heads off to the third base dugout. What a fantastic performance for Pavia. So we don't know the exact pitch limits here in the Zone 4 playoffs. I would imagine it must be 107 because that is when both starters exited the game. And so for Nick Pavia, he will give way here to number 22, Braden Deckers. So Decker certainly with some big shoes to fill, and for Milford, their only hope is that perhaps with Pavia out of the game, they can spark a dramatic 2-out rally here. But again, just 1 out left to work with. So again, that final line for Nick Pavia, he goes 6 2/3 innings, limiting this Milford offense that has feasted all season long to just 1 run on 3 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 7. And barring the most dramatic of comebacks, in line to pick up the victory and allow Hudson to rest up for the remainder of the day today. So again, one more time, as we've been explaining the playoff format here, the winner of this game will have the rest of the day off. We'll have a chance to take on the one other remaining undefeated team in a matchup tomorrow afternoon at the higher seeds field. The loser of this game will have to hang around and watch the Northborough-North County game. And then we'll take on the winner of that game much later on this evening. And so Deckers is ready to face the number 9 hitter in the Milford lineup, Nick Koch. He has reached base once this afternoon on an infield base hit back in the 3rd. Takes the first pitch low for ball 1. And now a pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Good velocity here out of Deckers. A lot of hard throwers on the mound all game long for both of these teams, as Koch now sends a routine ground ball to second base. It eats up Sequenzia, and he can't make the play. And so this one not over quite yet. So moments after Sequenzia makes an incredible diving play on a line drive off McGee's bat, he ends up booting that ground ball. It's the second error for Hudson. And it gives Milford another chance here with Andrew Denizen now at the plate. And just able to get the leg out of the way, and perhaps some Milford fans around the field wishing that perhaps Denizen hadn't made such an effort to get out of the way to have a chance to bring the tying run to the plate. But another pitch misses, and it's now a 2-ball, no-strike count. Andrew did reach on a bunt single back in the 3rd. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it's down in the dirt for ball 3. So now all of a sudden the anxiety starts to build just a tick on the Hudson side. A walk here would allow Milford to bring the tying run to the plate. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and it is on the inside corner for a strike. Denizen had taken a hop step down to first, but will come back to the plate. If you're Coach DeVito, you're likely keeping the stop sign on here for Denizen on the 3-1 pitch as well. Indeed, and it misses for ball 4. So Milford with some good speed on the bases. Koch now at second, Denizen at first. And Sean McGee at the plate representing the tying run here with 2 outs. So Pavia reaching his pitch count limit. Hudson having to go to the bullpen, and Milford with a little glimmer here with 2 away. And McGee watches the first pitch miss for ball 1. Sean today a walk and 2 strikeouts at the plate. He's also made 2 errors in the field. And so now a visit from the Hudson coaching staff to try to calm down Deckers, who watched his second baseman commit an error to allow Koch to reach, and then a walk surrendered to Denizen. And now a 2-ball, no-strike count to McGee. Looking to stay disciplined at the plate. Evan Cornelius lurking in the on-deck area. He would represent the winning run should he get to the plate. Here's a 2-0 pitch, and it's in the dirt for ball 3. And And no question right now, the heart rate is elevated for Braden Deckers. A lot of activity in the Milford dugout now. Here's the 3-0. It is high for ball 4. Back-to-back walks. And Milford has the bases loaded. The tying runs are on. The winning run now at the plate, all with 2 outs. So here is Cornelius. Singled in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third, and grounded out in the 5th. The second time today he has come to the plate with the bases loaded. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. And now that pitch narrowly misses. So many big at-bats on this field for Evan Cornelius over his high school and Legion career. Here's a 1-1. And that just barely grazes the inside part of the plate. That was a borderline pitch. A big call in Decker's favor, and now Hudson 1 strike away. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Cornelius sends it through the left side for a base hit. 1 run scores for Milford. Here comes Dennison screaming around from third. He will score. It is a 2-out, 2-run single for Evan Cornelius. And this game is now 4-3. And how monstrously big is that insurance run that Hudson scored in the top half of this inning? That is the difference in this game right now. Cornelius sneaking that ball through the left side, 2-run score, the tying run at second, and now Jacob Smith sends a line drive into the glove of Jason Jacobson's, and just like that, this game comes to an end. And so the comeback bid for Milford comes agonizingly short. A line drive off of Jacob Smith's bat, just a little bit higher, and this game would be tied, but Jacobson's with the good height at first base, able to make the catch for the out that ends the game. And a shocking final score here this afternoon as Milford falls to Hudson by a final score of 4-3. Made their best comeback bid, all with 2 outs in the 7th inning. But the star of this game, Nick Pavia, who did enough, pitching 6 2/3 innings. Deckers came out of the bullpen and things got very shaky, but Hudson able to hang on for the victory. So it's just the 3rd loss of the season for Milford, but here in the postseason, it puts them now on the brink of elimination. This Milford team that has been a juggernaut throughout this 2023 season so far. And so obviously here is the road ahead here at Pheno Field. Coming up next here at Pheno will be an elimination game featuring Northborough versus North County. The winner of that game will have to turn around and play a nightcap here later on this evening against Milford. So Post 59 will have to hang around and play another one here later on this evening for their playoff lives. If Milford ends up winning later on tonight, they will come back and play a game tomorrow, likely on the road. So the remainder of our coverage here for Milford Legion baseball remains uncertain. We will not be able to hang around, unfortunately, for the game later on this evening. So we certainly wish Milford well. We'll stay close to all of the developments here later on today, and we suggest all of you out there stay close to our social media to see if we can get any more action in here on this 2023 season. But a fascinating game here this afternoon ends in disappointment for Milford as they fall to Hudson by a final score of 4-3. So again, that wraps up our coverage here for today. We certainly encourage fans to come out here to Pheno Field as there is a lot more baseball to be played, including another one for Post 59 much later on this evening. But that wraps things up for us here today. Again, I want to acknowledge our hardworking Milford TV crew on hand for the coverage. Our director for the game is Scott Crisafulli. Our camera operator is Patrick Garapi, and also Credit to Jerry Maglita, who's been taking some excellent B-roll footage for us here today. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Hudson with the upset victory over Milford, 4-3. This has been a presentation of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.